welcome to IHKC Live. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lauren Conaway. I am founder and CEO of Innovate Her KC, and we like to have IHKC Lives every couple of weeks just to update folks on what our members are up to, talk about issues that are affecting Kansas City, in particular those that affect women leaders, and have some really cool conversations with some awesome people. Now, today, I don't know if y'all know this, but it is AAPI Heritage Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're very excited to celebrate. We actually had our monthly meetup this month at Cafe, owned by Jackie Nguyen. It is a Vietnamese coffee shop, innovator-owned, woman-owned, and we love it. Hella good latte for sure. But today we're going to be talking to one of our favorite leaders. We're going to be talking to Emily Weber. Emily is a representative in the Missouri House of Representatives. She is representing District 24, and she's had some exciting legislative work going on. We're going to talk to her about that. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. But first, we're going to bring up Cynthia Fales, the producer, hostess with the mostest. Cynthia, if you want to come on up. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
You already have people tapping in. I'm doing well. We got a hello from Christina in KC, and we got somebody watching all the way in Pittsburgh, PA.
Hey. Oh, I know Orlana. We met at the National Women's Collaborative Summit and the We Mean Business Summit in Puerto Rico. She was instrumental in bringing that event off. Huge. How are you doing, babe? So as our producer, I love having these conversations with you every other week. But one of the things that Cynthia does is she comes up with quirky questions.
I do.
How are you feeling about quirky questions this week?
They're pretty quirky. They're not as quirky as the tooth question, but they're pretty quirky.
I need to remember what episode that is because I do want to look at my face. Like when you asked that, what tooth would you keep? What? I want to look at that. All right. So not as weird as the tooth question.
Yeah, definitely not. But they are.
I can't wait to see.
Should we bring Emily in so that we can
feel like we should.
All right, let's bring her in.
Emily Weber, come on down. How are you, friend?
I'm good. I'm ready for the question.
I am too.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of these. I don't know if I'm ready. I would never say that I'm ready. I'm just like, that's just not a given. I don't know if you can ever be ready for these.
You can if you make them up.
That's true. You do have a little bit of extra think time.
I do. And sometimes I don't even answer them.
Oh, I love somebody came in and said good thundery evening. For those of you outside the KC area, just so y'all know, it is our weather seems precarious right now.
It was pretty interesting. It was hot and sunny earlier, and then the skies
doing
opened
all
up.
Kinds of weird things, and I think it's about to rain, but it's making odd noises and weird flashes. And
oh yeah, we've had thunder and rain here already.
Have you? Okay, yeah. we just got little sprinkles. We just got all of like the thunder.
Oh, it's on the way. So Emily, where are you in the Kansas City area right now?
I am. So I live in the Hyde Park area.
Awesome.
So I had an event down the crossroads. Literally got back to my apartment probably 2 minutes before this started.
Nice.
Right on in. Like, hey guys.
And now we're gonna throw these quirky questions at you.
And now I'm gonna get a question.
You didn't even have time to like rest and compose your mind.
Right.
Now we're coming after you, girl.
Oh, Delia's tapping in as well. Okay. Hello. My gosh. Y'all keep tapping in and saying hello. And if you're up for it, throw your answers to these quirky questions in the comments because we're always curious what the answers are. Are you ready, ladies?
Sure.
As ready as you can be. Okay. First question. And Lauren, I think I'm going to have you answer this first. We're going to give Emily a little bit of think time.
Fair.
What is the strangest purchase that you have made or almost made? Made or almost made?
I don't know. I'm not a shopper. And I don't know that I've like gotten weird. Like I don't know. Like I buy a lot of books. Like there's just nothing weird about that. So let's see. Weirdest thing I've ever bought. I I bought a Marilyn Monroe life-size cardboard cutout once. And is that weird? I don't know. Oh, I bought a remote control Velociraptor that like screams across the floor. Okay, that is kind of weird.
No, that's not weird at all. Like that's something or maybe that makes me weird because I would purchase it. So
yeah. We had, I don't know if either of you have been over to my house, but we have integrated our love for dinosaurs into our decor because that's
love this.
Yeah. So
you do realize that Netflix has Land Before Time.
Yes, I can't go. It's on my watch list, but I remember being destroyed by that movie as a kid.
Oh my god, I know. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it.
No, I loved it, but it has like some really sad moments, and I'm like, I have to be in the right frame of mind to watch this now.
Yep. Yeah, I know what I'm doing after this live is over. I just thanks, Emily. What's yours?
Okay. So I've been thinking around. Okay. So I will have to say this. Sometimes those damn TikTok commercial ads get me.
They're the devil.
I came so close to getting the ear thing where it like you can clean your ear out, but it has like the thing
where you like swivel it and it like gets on the inside and you pull it all out.
But you can.
This thing.
Shut up! I can't believe you have it. Not only do you have it right there at the ready. Like you're just like, yes.
Is that the one that has a camera on the end?
Yes.
Okay, so hold up. Now we're gonna get deep and personal on this. So, do you like it?
I do like it. I do. Yes.
Does it do what it promises?
It sort of does. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if my earwax is too hard or if it's too soft, but sometimes it doesn't move.
Maybe you just don't have a lot of earwax.
Could be that. It could be that.
Have hearing problems.
All right. Okay, so I might have to.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
I think so. That's funny.
I did during the pandemic. Well, it wasn't during the pandemic, I guess. It was like, what, 2 years ago? Something like that. I did purchase a neck fan because I was going out and door knocking candidates, and it was super damn hot outside, and I don't do well. So I literally bought a neck fan, and the amount of people that when I knocked their door to talk about the candidate, the amount of questions and conversations we had about the neck fan are outrageous.
I mean, so seriously, what a conversation starter to get into that like conversational zone, you know?
Right?
It could have been planned that
right.
strategic move.
So, okay, I'm realizing now that I might just be a weirdo because Emily, I have two. They're two different kinds. One has a fan that's behind the grate, and then the other has a fan that's like the blades are open. Yeah.
Now your conversation.
Lauren is cracking up.
I sadly do not own any neck fans, and I'm feeling very left out. Actually, like
hot flashes. Hot flashes are a thing, and neck fans help tremendously.
Okay, so I have the one where the fan is like under the grate.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I don't get all the air, and so
you
I talked to the lady at Costco about hers because she had the ones with the fans that were on the edge, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And at one point she stopped everything because she's checking me out. Because I asked her the question, she stops everything, puts it on my neck, and then lets me like test it out while I'm standing there.
Nice.
That's customer service.
Yeah, like she's got your back. All right, so I do have to ask this because this is what I would want to do. But when you have it on your neck and it has the grate, you know how when you were a kid, it used to like speak into fans.
It does it. Yes, it does it.
Does it? Oh, that's the reason to get it right there. That's the only reason.
Don't ask me how I know.
Okay. So now I know what I'm doing.
Your father.
Right.
All right.
This was the perfect question to start with. What's funny is that out of those things, none of those would have been my answer.
Now I'm curious what your answer is.
It was Instagram that got me, and it was one of those milk jug pumps. I haven't even tried it yet. It's still in the box, but the thing that you put on the milk jug that
Yeah.
has like the spout, and then you can just like pump it.
Yeah.
That's my weirdest
Did
purchase.
you ever watch Friends?
I've seen some episodes.
So there's an episode in Friends where Joey, one of the characters, has a gig with an infomercial, and it's one of those
Mhm.
things. It's like a spike that you stick in the milk jar, and later on in the show, one of his love interests is like, so, "You're the guy who can't open milk." But it would be so convenient. Like we have to come up with a better system. Those
We do.
cardboard things just get shredded.
Yeah, they
Right.
don't really open well. We had a comment from our viewers. Christina said, "A fly zapper that looks like a tennis racket." I have 2 of those in the house.
Cynthia, do you have a problem? Do we
I
need
think
to have a
so.
conversation?
I think we need an intervention, people.
Are you
I
okay?
think
Do
we
you
need an
need an
intervention.
adult?
I am the adult in this.
Cynthia, I kind of want to come over to your house and figure out what else.
It's like a playland over
I
here.
kind of do. Well, and I've been to your house, and you have a lot of really cool stuff, but I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't like look closely enough.
You
I did not
didn't.
see the weird. I don't know.
Yep.
But I love that. I love that about you. It makes
Well,
me so
Cynthia,
happy.
I'm inviting myself over to your house so I can play golf.
Nice.
Before I buy it.
Can we just come play with your stuff?
Absolutely. All right. Do you just want to do 2 quirky questions?
Yeah, let's do 2.
Okay.
We went a little hard. And,
Yeah. Who knew? I didn't know. I had no idea. Maybe that just makes me quirky. All right. Last quirky question for the day. If you, gosh, which one of these do I want to ask? There's 2 really good ones.
The best one.
The best one. Okay. If you could invent a holiday, what would it be?
Wait, can Emily go first this time?
Sure.
Because I was on the chopping block first last time. Okay.
Oh,
Time to think. Christina said the fly zapper that looks like a tennis racket is amazing, and I concur.
I kind of need one.
Oh man.
I want all of the stuff. Holiday. What doesn't get celebrated?
You know what? Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah. It's a voter holiday. It's election day. It'd be a holiday.
Yes, that'd be fantastic.
Nice. Very nice. National holiday. Everybody had. Very nice. See, you went all serious with it. Well, okay.
I did.
So I actually tried to invent a holiday once. First things first.
Okay.
This is not so I have 2 answers. My first answer is the holiday that I would like to see, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'd like to have like a love your body day, and it's for everybody, but like in particular, it is for women and folks who might have like a little bit of dysphoria, or like people who struggle to accept their bodies, like. I think I'm learning the importance of giving thanks and like being grateful for the things that my body can do.
Yeah.
And like the things that I like about myself rather than the things that I don't like about like, how do we celebrate our bodies rather than constantly tear them down and constantly subject them to different, like stupid standards. And so that was where my head went. But I am going to tell you, so I actually tried to invent a holiday once upon a time. It was May 15th. And it was called Non Sequitur Day. And the only thing that you had to do was anytime somebody tried to start a conversation with you, you would just come out with like a random fact. Like somebody would be like, "Hey, Lauren, how you doing?" I'd be like, "The dot over the I is called a tittle." And like that would be the thing. So that was the holiday I tried to start.
I feel like if the 3 of us got together, be some good times had here.
Play with all your toys, and then I'll have a shopping cart that I can't afford.
And then just random facts. We'll spew in random facts.
I love it.
And see how we can push to get Election Day to be a national holiday.
That is
so people can actually vote.
Of the 3 mentioned, that is the one that I was actually backing behind. Like, yes, this is from the smart lady who understands. Like, yeah.
Gotta go the political route.
Good job.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to hear the rest of this conversation. So I'm going to excuse myself and let y'all get to it. Emily, thanks so much for answering these quirky questions. And thanks to you all for tapping in as well.
Yes. Yeah. Please keep it coming. And friends, Cynthia, we'll catch you later. Isn't she awesome? She's like she's the best producer ever.
And I am being serious. I do want to go over to her house and
yeah, I kind of do too. Yeah. So all right. So we're gonna talk offline for sure. All right. Well, so let's kick into it. You know, we're gonna have a conversation now. And friends, if you are watching at home, not only do we expect, but we highly encourage you. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to give Emily a shout out. Like if you have things that you want us to drill down on, we would love to hear from you. Part of one of the beauties of this live experience is that we get to talk to you in real time. And how often do you get to talk to the first Asian American woman to serve? Isn't it Missouri Congress? Like it's the whole thing, right?
The General Assembly.
General Assembly. Yeah. You're the first. And so that's incredible. But I'm going to kick it off. And I want you to tell us about your journey. Like, how did you get from there to here?
Yeah, definitely. So I talk about my journey a lot because this wasn't a path that I ever saw myself going down. So I came to Kansas City to attend Kansas City Art Institute. And then after graduation, I fell in love with Kansas City and stayed. But it was literally, I started doing volunteering for organizations that kind of aligned with my beliefs. So I used to joke, I did anything from animal rescue to, Planned Parenthood, and then, hodgepodge of things in between. And that's kind of how I donated a lot of my time. But the day after the 2016 election, I was in the parking lot of a grocery store, and a man in a huge pickup truck rolled down his window and screamed, "Go back to where you came from, China doll." And the first instinct that I'm having is, first off, it's a shitty day anyways.
Yeah.
I'm horribly pissed off about the election outcome. And I don't want to really talk to anybody. And I was trying to prepare for an event that evening for Missouri Pitbull Rescue. And I didn't want to do that. And, he comes and says that. And the first thing that popped in my head was, I'm not Chinese.
I know. I was just going to say, I mean, at least get it right. You're Korean, right?
What? Yeah. If you're throwing some kind of slang at me, say right. I'm not Chinese. But that
I can't believe we're sitting here hoping that people get better in their attitude. Like, all right.
I mean, we're gonna do it right. Yeah. But it was that realization that, I came to the realization that voting just wasn't enough anymore. And I'm the type of person that when you start pushing me, I'm going to push back. And so I started trying to figure out how to get involved politically to help candidates. Like, I have skills, I have graphic design skills, I have marketing skills. Like, what do you need? And then I got introduced to the thing called door knocking, which is you go and you door knock for candidates, and you go in their district and you talk to voters, and you use the database that you need to, you mark down, and you try to convince voters to vote for this candidate, or to remind them to vote too.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, which, it's a little weird, going up to somebody's door and then knocking on it and you don't know who they are, and being like, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm out here volunteering for so-and-so. Do you have a few minutes to talk about kind of the issues that you're concerned about right now?" So it got me, I had a break outside of my kind of, happy box. So I broke out my box, started doing stuff that I was uncomfortable with, but really seeing the change that you can make by voter engagement.
Yeah.
And so I started helping candidates like Sharice Davids on the Kansas side.
I remember that. That was actually, it was right before you came out with your t-shirt. And I remember that you were campaigning for Sharice, and then all of a sudden you announced that you were gonna, like, it seemed like very quick succession.
Really
quick. Inspired working on Sharice's campaign, or?
Of course, I was very inspired working on Sharice's campaign, but by the time I was working on Sharice's campaign, I worked on, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 other candidates that I was helping at the same time too. So I worked on a ton of candidates on the Kansas and Missouri side. And then I wanted to figure out kind of who was running to replace my representative, which was Judy Morgan at the time, because we have term limits here in Missouri.
Right.
So he was getting termed out, and I wanted
Isn't
to make
it two terms? Is that four? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah. All right, cool. 4.
8 years total if you go the entire time. So we state reps, we have the terms are 2 years.
Yeah.
And you can serve 4 terms. In the Senate, it is 2 terms, but the terms are 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
So it's 8 years total on both.
Gotcha.
So Judy Morgan.
Incidentally, I think that feels weird, and I don't know why. Like, it just feels like an administrative headache that doesn't exist. But, okay.
Definitely.
Complicated bicameral system. All right.
I mean, anyway, anything easy on anybody.
Yeah.
But
sorry, continue.
Morgan was getting turned out, and I really wanted to try to figure out who was running to replace her so I could help. Yeah. Because, selfishly, I wanted to get another progressive woman to replace her. But nobody was really running. And then the community started urging me, asking me, maybe you should start moving this way. Like, it's your turn. You've run for office.
Yeah.
And that really was not something that I was thinking about. I had the whole imposter syndrome. I did not go to school for this. This was not something I studied. This was not something that I interned with either. I'm a graphic designer and I'm in marketing. This is not my area. Like, I can't go down and make laws for people and represent thousands of Missourians. So then
quickly, I do want to interject really quickly. There is a statistic out there. I cannot source it for you. You're going to have to take my word for it. I read it somewhere once upon a time. But apparently women, on average, they require that they be asked to take on a leadership position on average 3 times before they will actually do so. And that's things like, promotions, board seats, running for office. They, for whatever reason, like this imposter syndrome that you're talking about, like, it runs deep.
Yep.
And so did you have to be asked more?
I had times? Multiple times. Yes. And the my campaign manager always laughed at me because she was the one who was really pushing me to run. But her comment to me was, when she asked me, I didn't say no, but I didn't say yes. So she's like, hookies, give me.
You're existing in the space in between. What's it going to take to, like, push you in the right way? Well, no, I love that. So you have this imposter syndrome, but you're working through it.
I worked through it. I mean, I thought about it like, I didn't do any of these things this isn't where I was supposed to be, this isn't, like, I have no idea what this really looks like. But I thought about it, and I realized, I've worked paycheck to paycheck. I've been without healthcare. I have student loans. I've been paid less than a man for the same position. And at the end of the day, I'm a minority woman in the state of Missouri. So I'm more than qualified.
Absolutely. In my head, Cynthia, I don't know if we've ever had the conversation about swearing on this thing, but in my head, I yelled, F yeah! So, that was what happened in my head. Sorry for the pause. That's amazing. But no, congratulations. And I got to tell you, something that I noticed about your campaign, you were everywhere. And that's funny because, like, it's like game recognized game. Like, people are like, you're everywhere, Lauren. And I'm like, I know, I drive a lot. I'm always looking for parking. But you were so in tune with the community that you were looking to serve. Like, I just remember seeing you in picture after picture, meeting people, talking to people, having town halls. Your leadership style is extremely accessible. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what, in addition to that accessibility, like, what else do you like about your leadership style?
No, definitely. I mean, I'm a public servant, so I work for you. And, that's the way that I view this, is as, I am the public servant. I work for you. You are the boss. you're the constituents who have the voice, and I'm trying to raise your voice down in Jefferson City.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to make sure that people knew that I was serious about running for office when I finally decided that I was going to run. And I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure also, because elections cost money.
Yep.
That's one thing too. And this is a very good blue seat. So I was trying to make sure that we didn't have a primary. And I came off strong. I also knew we ran early because I also had to work. So we knew that it was going to take me a little bit longer to do things like the fundraising and things like that. So I tried to make sure that I was present at a lot of different events or meetings that I could be present at, because I had the time with my schedule and things like that before things got really crazy. So I tried to make sure that I was at the events and things like that, and meetings, because I've also heard and I've also seen elected officials, really not care about their constituents, and it shows. So
Yeah.
I really wanted to make sure that, coming in as a newbie, that was, yes, fresh, but that I was here for you. And let me tell you, Judy Morgan is amazing. That was the other issue too. The community loves Judy Morgan. I love Judy Morgan. But
So tough shoes to fill, for sure.
It's tough shoes to fill. Let me get you that. And let me tell you that. There's a few times pandemic hit when I first ran. And so I would call constituents and tell them that I was running for office and blah, 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 blah. I usually got yelled at in the beginning because they thought I was running against Judy Morgan. And then when they found out Judy was turned out, they're like, well.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh no. Like,
that would be a little disconcerting. Like, who are you upstart? So clearly it worked. You won. Congratulations. Yay. Now, I'm curious because you just ended a legislative session, right?
Yes.
And I'm so sorry. I'm about to cough. There you go. As soon as I started talking, I choked on spit and I was trying to choke it back. At any rate, so you won. You just finished your legislative session.
Yes.
Talk to us about some of your priorities and some of the things that you worked on over the course of this past session.
Definitely. So a lot of the legislation that I file, because I'm in a really good blue seat, they're controversial issues like common sense gun laws and reproductive health care. So I've always filed those bills. They're not, unfortunately, because of the dynamic of our state right now, they're not going to go anywhere and they're not going to get a hearing. So I also file, I'm on I actually do a lot for agriculture. And so I filed a few bills this session to do some things like making sure that goat grazing is legal in Jackson County, which is an odd one for sure. That's one of my strange piece of legislation that we dealt with.
That is one of the outliers. Like that does feel odd.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I was working with Cultivate KC. And I file a lot of different bills, like Elijah's Law, that makes sure that daycare centers have a plan of action with somebody who has a horrible food allergy, death, and things like that. I've also trying to go through my bills right now. I have a few different ones.
I mean, there are a bunch of them. Like every time I turned around, you were talking about another bill that you had put forward. So I mean, I can see you're kind of drinking from the fire hose right now. I feel like.
But ultimately, my bills unfortunately my bills aren't going to really go anywhere because I am in the super minority. I did get a bill passed this session, so it is my AAPI Heritage Month bill.
And that's what we're here to celebrate. So
exactly.
Let's hear about
it. So that bill actually it did pass, but the governor does have to. He either has to sign it, do nothing at all, or he vetoes it. Then we go back to square one next session. So hopefully that bill doesn't get vetoed.
Do you think it's promising? Like, I mean, we're not gonna, disclaimer, we're not gonna hold Emily Weber to anything at all that she says right now, but do you feel good about it?
I hope. I feel good. I hope. We'll see. I mean, you never know. So fingers crossed. We'll have to see. But yeah, so finally I filed that legislation, had a hearing. I had a lot of the AAPI community come up from across the state to testify for the bill.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of our Innovate Her Case.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Which that was fun for me to see. I have a little sense of pride, like
I love it.
Even though I have nothing to do with it whatsoever. Look at that innovator. But yeah, no, that is super cool.
So yeah, so I mean, we had a really good hearing. A lot of people were really enthused about it. If you remember back to my first year as a state rep, I had to file a complaint against a representative who kept on saying the China virus on the floor when he was talking about COVID. Well, go back to my hearing. That person was the chair of that committee. So that was
wait. So in this process, was this individual formally reprimanded or like any consequences whatsoever?
No.
I'm sorry, babe. Hey, friends. PSA for you. Don't call it that. It's not a cool thing to do, and it's just gross. Don't do that. Yeah, COVID-19 is fine. It's fine. It's not like China virus isn't even shorter. You're not saving any time. You just make yourself look like an asshole. So anyway,
okay. Bliss Books and Wine just made a comment. I want to say something to them. I've been meaning to come down and check you all out. You are in my building, and I'm super excited about it.
Yay! I didn't know that that's where you live, but we have actually had a couple of joint events with Bliss since they launched, and really? Lene is on our board of directors. She's one of the co-founders.
Okay.
We heart Bliss Books and Wine, located at 350 something Gillum. If you want to check, it's like 3501 or 3502. I can't remember, but check it out.
No, definitely. I have. I've been. When I saw that they were coming in, and I saw it was like wine and books, I was like, oh God, yes. Like, yes, sign me up.
Like heaven. You just invited me to heaven, right? Well, and it's so beautiful in there. Like they've just done such a good job of curating a fantastic experience.
Love it.
But I want to talk about your experience though. Okay, sorry. I'm assuming that Lene just came in and was like 3502. I was close, right? I was only one digit off. But yes, check out 3502. Gillum Road, Bliss Books and Wine. And I do believe that Cynthia Fales, the executive producer of IHKC Live, you can find some of her titles on the shelves. All right, we're done. Our commercial for Bliss is over. Okay. So they did not pay us to do that. All right. So you're going to check out Bliss Books and Wine. But I want to talk to you. You said the word experience, and you shared with us a vulnerable moment, like a moment of hatred and racism that you personally experienced, and it set you on a path. And I always love it when people are able to turn their personal pain into positive good, and I know so many innovators who do that. It's one of my favorite parts of your story. Like this really shitty situation that happened to you, it galvanized you into action, and look at you now. Like had somebody asked you, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, hey, Emily, you think you're going to serve in the Missouri House of Representatives? Like, what would you have said?
God, no.
You would have been the hell no. I remember you at the beginning of that journey, and I remember when you had announced that you were going to run, and you were still kind of like, "Oh God, no."
Yeah.
So yeah. But all that being said, you are the first. You are a first, and you are one of few and proud. And I do want to talk to you about that. Like AAPI Heritage Month is important for a reason. There is a reason that we celebrate marginalized identities, because we don't see enough celebration of them unless we intentionally set aside time to do it. And so I want to talk to you about that. You're pushing this AAPI, acknowledgement legislation through, it's a huge part of your identity. I hear you talk about it often, but what is it like being the first? I don't know if you're the only at this point, but
so there's actually 3 of us.
Okay.
So the Republicans do have, he's actually the floor leader. So it's Representative John Patterson.
Okay.
So me and him actually share kind of a similar story. We were both adopted and kind of raised in a rural area type. But Representative Richard Brown, he is the assistant minority leader. He is actually half Japanese, half Black. So there is just 3 of us as of right now in the House. I believe there's been nobody in the Senate. But being the first woman who has to speak out a lot about things like diversity, equity, inclusion, and things like that. Yeah. And I do share a lot of stories growing up in rural Kansas, growing up with white parents, growing up in a area where the teachers are very rural, and I was maybe one of the first minorities that they ever taught. And was a lot of growing pains. And I talk about that a lot on the floor when we have attacks on things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, which there will be more of coming up next session. But I talk a lot about that. I talk a lot about, my upbringing, especially when we talk about the LGBTQIA community as well. I make comments about how my mother is very religious, very conservative, but she understands that we have to move along with times. And she accepts people for who they are, and she doesn't care what you look like or what you identify as long as you're a good human. She accepts you, and she does do the whole love thy neighbor. And so I talk a lot about that as well when we have those tough conversations to kind of make sure that people understand. I grew up in an area just like you, and I get a lot of the issues that your community brings up or aren't aware of. And I get that, but at the same time, having legislation that's going to put wedge issues between people or discriminate against a small group is not okay. And it's not what we should be wasting the taxpayer money on as well, too.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for being so free with your story. It's one of those things that I sometimes have to tell myself too, like, you don't owe anybody your story, but you give it freely. And I love that about you, the fact that you're willing to be so vulnerable and share what, in some cases, some pretty painful memories. But again, you've allowed that to, like, you focus it outward, and you've allowed it to become this really great force for good, like this great positive thing. And I admire that so much about you. So I'm going to ask you, this is actually, I was thinking, all right, I was totally having shower thoughts, and I was like, and I don't know where it's going to fit in the interview, but I really want to ask her because I wanna. So this has nothing to do with anything that we have talked about previously. But if you could introduce a bill that you knew would not fail and would have all of the backing, all of the funding, all of the stuff that it needed in order to survive and thrive, what would the thing be?
Oh my God.
You got to pick one. You got to do it. I stumped her.
I've got the only thing I can think of right now, because, and this is what I would say, with initiative, we might get a reproductive health. We have a chance to get reproductive health care back with our initiative petition. And this session, the tax on initiative petition failed. So we still have it intact. So it's not going to be our reproductive health care, even though that's usually my go-to.
Okay.
I'm going to say it would be common sense gun laws. and it would be a whole package of common sense gun laws.
So you're just gonna like stuff all of the laws in there that you possibly can.
It's all the common sense gun laws. If that's what, and that's what I would probably try to push, because that gets nowhere right now.
Okay.
Conversation doesn't even happen.
I was just honestly like, I was like, I don't even have a reason for asking. I just want to know. Okay. So what other vision do you have for Emily Weber? Like, actually, let me ask you this first. Do you ever get sick of talking about like your political life, or do you always love it?
I mean, I'm used to it. Like, I'm used to it now. Like, because
that's not what I asked.
No, I do. In a weird way. Yes, I do love it. Mainly because, like, especially during AAPI month, when I'm talking to maybe a group of the AAPI community, because it is the Heritage Month, so I am everywhere doing events for those. But it's great because we don't have anybody that looks like us that is in office that's close by right now.
Yeah.
And talking to the individuals after the events or things like that, that's very inspirational and eye-opening, because they're excited, they want to learn more, and I'm hoping that they get more involved within the political world, or just making sure that they vote every single election, and making sure they're open and talking about issues that are important to them and things like that, and showing them that elected officials are just normal people who have to go down to Jefferson City and put up with a lot of crap, but that we're here and accessible, so you can talk to us and you can ask us questions, and you can set up coffee meetings with me and a few others and things like that.
Make your voices heard, people. Well, and I know that voting has always been one of your priorities, and with it, I mean, it is for Innovator as well. We always do, our social media blitz around elections, and we actually did notary drives during lockdown. Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes.
I think maybe you and I had like a conversation like that. I don't even know. We had a conversation about it for sure. But it's so crucially important. So innovators and folks playing at home, Emily, give it to him. Tell him, like, vote.
God, please
vote.
Register to vote and then go vote in every single election.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not just talking like every election, local elections are, if not just as important, if not more important than the big presidential ones and the big congressional ones.
There's one thing on the ballot, do it.
Yeah. And then the advocates of our community and the civic leaders of our community will thank you for making your voice heard. Please do it. Well, so I love that is such a huge part of your messaging. Oh, and we see. Well, I'm going to assume that it's Lene, not Lanisha. So thank you, Lene. But yeah, so definitely vote, folks. But one of the things, and one of the notes that I want to leave us on, I'm going to ask you two very different questions. And so the first one is, how can we proactively support civic leadership? Like, what can we, voting, sure. You mentioned door knocking earlier. Like, how can we engage in the civic system, support it, have our voices heard, be a part of this process that you're so passionate about?
Definitely. So, again, I'm in a safe blue seat, so hopefully I won't have an election. If the last election cycle that we had, me and Representative Patty Lewis didn't have opponents. So what we did was we spent all of our time helping outside of Kansas City. So helping like Independence, north of the river, Platte, Clay. I even went down to Springfield and I knocked doors for a few candidates down there too. They need volunteers like none other, and door knocking is the best way to get involved and to help them. The other thing is, if you can't do that or don't want to because it's a little weird, phone calls. They do have phone banking as well. And then ultimately it's money. Donations Donations go a long
And
way.
you can't. And honestly, like when we're talking about donations, I know everybody says it, but it's cliche for a reason. Every little bit helps. Like if you want to support a candidate, your $5. Campaign managers know how to make that stuff stretch.
Exactly. Every little bit helps. I mean, or throw a fundraiser and get all of your friends to donate. $20 here, $30 there, whatever.
For sure.
But definitely we're going to need money because this upcoming election is going to be a hard one. We won we picked up seats last election, and we gained a lot in different areas that I don't think they were banking on. And so they're going to come at us twofold. And it's going to be harder for us to save the seats that we need to save, but also gain the seats that we need to pick up. And so that is what we're really going to need to, focus on.
Yeah. All right. So I told you that there were 2 questions, and incidentally, I'm looking at Cynthia in her little grayed out box. Hi, Cynthia. I can see your face, and I bet she is thinking we're over time, Lauren. Shut up. But she just shook her head. No. Okay, good. She's like, come on. All right. So at any rate, I just wanted to check in really quick. But I've been so invested. Like I've just been listening to the conversation, and I looked at the clock. I was like, crap. So my next question, but it is going to have to be, relatively snappy. How could and shit? Now I have 3 questions. How can we support our Kansas City AAPI community?
Oh, that's easy. Help candidates out like me.
Candidates. Hashtag representation matters.
Exactly. Reed Shoes on the Kansas side. Please go help him as well. And then the businesses. I mean, there's local artists that are coming that are all over the place. We have a ton of local small businesses. Just like with Cafe.
Yeah.
There's so many.
So Cafe just had AAPI Iconic, which incidentally is the best name for an event ever.
I was so sad I missed it. I was in St. Louis.
I actually saw you.
So sad.
We were gonna be able to make it. I was like, oh, but no, it was a fabulous event. But what was really fantastic was seeing all of these vendors, like AAPI vendors that were out there selling. And I couldn't afford to buy everything that I wanted to buy, so I'm like making mental notes for the future. Keep it coming, keep that local support going. Shop AAPI owned businesses. Shout them out on social. That is something that is free and easy to do. Like if you think, hey, love your coffee mug or whatever it is, that's all you gotta do. I love that. All right, super sneaky 3rd question that I was not planning on, but now I'm gonna ask it. How can we support you?
Ooh.
Other than voting. Like, can we send you? Actually, you know what? You're a politician. We can't really send you much, can we? Can we give gifts? I don't know. Is that a thing that's allowed?
You don't have a lobbyist or a principal, so innovators can do whatever they want.
Some bad watch.
You have a town hall coming up. It's June 3rd, 10:30 to 11:30 at the Kansas City Library in the Westport location.
Nice.
So if you want to learn more about details on what happened this session, things like that, please come. Even if you don't live in my district, you can still come. And then I will be having a fundraiser. It's not planned yet, but it's most likely going to be at Hamburger Mary's. So there is another event that I unfortunately do not have pulled up on my phone yet, but it is.
You sound like I'm about to sound when I'm giving the IHKC update. Just be like, I think there's something in there. Maybe
there's something. I don't know. I'm gonna use long words to draw this out.
That's something for you all to look forward to. Incidentally, I'm vamping to give Emily time to find it, but also that's something for you to look forward to, viewers.
So I will be participating June 14th. It's a Wednesday. It's from 6:30 to 8. It's at the All Souls Church by Kansas City Art Institute. It's going to be a Pride night with Melinda Ryder from Hamburger Mary's. So it's going to be drag queen story hour for the kiddos, things like that. And, they're going to have like activities and whatever. So I will definitely be down there participating in that as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And let's chat offline, but I want to make sure that we get the links in the comments so that people can find all of these things. Cynthia is amazing, and it looks like she was able to find your volunteer link, which is awesome. So definitely check that out. And then now we come to the most embarrassing part of this time together for me, where I get to give IHKC updates. So Emily, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. You are amazing. Just so y'all know, I'm a little biased. Emily and I have been friends for a while, but as always, it's just so good to talk to you. I love you and your work, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you so much. I love you too. Hopefully we can see each other like in person soon.
Like real soon.
Right?
Well, and now you're every single time I text, I'm like, you want to go grab a drink or something? And she's like, I'm in Jeff City. Of course you are. You're very
fancy. You know what we can do? We can go grab a drink at Bliss Books.
Yes. Okay. That's happening. And I see Lene just came in with a thank you. So we're coming for you, girl. All right. So we're going to hit up Bliss Books and Wine. And I'm actually she's going to hate that I do this, and I'm apologizing in advance, but I would like to bring Cynthia back up. If you don't mind, shake your head no at me if you do. Hey, there she is. I want to make sure that I'm getting dates right. So can you help me? Can you take me through it?
Absolutely.
Today is the 24th.
Today is May 24th.
Okay, today is May 24th, so I need to get on the right day.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some events coming up for Innovate Her KC. We would love to have you join us. And first up, oh Lord, what is it? We've got, so we have a partnership with Interurban Art House. They are running a leadership development, business development series for makers and creatives. And we're going to be doing a session for them on marketing on June 1st from 6 to 7:30 at Interurban Art House. Definitely check it out. It's a really cool series, if I don't say so myself. But it's been really great so far. We've done sessions on networking. We've done a session on insurance. And we do have a Perfect Your Pitch coming up as well. I will have to check the date because as Cynthia is about to back me on, I am terrible at this part of the show, always. So June 6th, that is our next monthly meetup. Our monthly meetups are the first Tuesday of every month. And as you may know, June is Pride Month. So we're going to be celebrating with Uncommon Good, but Service Brewery, if you have not been, they have fabulous brews, LGBTQIA owned, woman owned, innovator owned. Come check it out with us. We're going to have some fun and get to experience a really awesome Kansas City business. So June 6th, 5 to 6:30. And then the next week, I think, Nope, not the next week. We after that. Shit.
Where's my dump button?
Actually, you know what? All right, Cynthia, what am I missing? We have an IHKC live coming up
on June 7th.
She found it. We have a Keystone session coming up, and that's in
July 12th.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You know what? Hey, Cynthia. Yeah. If I buy you something pretty and I'm really, really nice to you, will you just kind of take us through it? Because my notes are all messed up.
It has to be something as seen on TV, clearly.
Okay. I can do that. I can totally do that.
Also, this is what I went to get. This was my weirdest purchase, just to follow up on that conversation.
Okay. All right.
That makes me so happy.
You're welcome. Yes. You're welcome.
Okay, so hey, Aaron, we have to buy Cynthia something as seen on TV.
You totally don't. You totally don't.
Okay. All right, so what else do we have coming up? I'm so all out of order.
That's all that we have on the calendar right now.
Okay.
But we'll make sure that we get a link in there so that people can follow the IHKC calendar and add all of this stuff to their
that would just make it all so much easier. Wouldn't it's a good problem to have. We just have a lot going on.
That's a good thing.
Unless I'm like staring at my calendar, I have no idea what's happening right now.
You got ripples and waves to make. So yeah.
Well, but definitely come connect with us at an event. Maybe you'll see Emily Weber. That's supposed to be my enticing eyebrows. I don't know if that's working.
I saw a thumbs up.
Am I doing it?
I saw a thumbs up.
But maybe you'll meet Emily Weber. Maybe you'll meet Cynthia Fales. Cynthia comes to a lot of our events. Maybe you'll meet me. I don't know. I'm always there.
Hopefully.
I'm always there. But definitely come out, say hi. We would love to see you. All
Absolutely.
Right. And then Emily, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you want to take us out? This is me. My enticing eyebrows are not very good. I don't know if I've ever looked at them before, and I'm like, oh, that's not impressive. I can barely even tell I'm doing it.
Remember to get involved in your local elections.
Yes.
There it is. And make sure that you follow IHKC on all social media platforms. And if you love this video, or even if you liked something that we said, make sure that you share it. Help us out so we can beat those algorithms and get the message out about things that Emily is doing. She's on this side. And what IHKC is doing, so that we can continue to create those ripples that turn it into waves. We'll see y'all in the next one.